Hi everybody, it's Lisa Ciato. How are you today? Okay, daily lifestyle coaching. So here's some tidbits on the ways you can shift what you're doing in your daily habit for you and your kids. So we're talking about kids' snacks and what we're really feeding them and what they're getting out of it, the nutrients that they're getting out of it. Hey, Nicole. So I'm going to start off with these things. Oh my God, I used to love goldfish, right? And I used to buy the big box at Sam's Club and feed them to my kids. And this, all of our kids probably eat this in one little sitting, right? When they're sitting in the back seat of the car. So in this little thing, we're going to talk about reading the ingredient list. Okay, I'm not going to go into detail. I like to keep things simple, so I'm going to try to help keep it simple for you. And so in this little serving it's supposed to be 55 pieces for one serving. There's 2 servings in this, and I think this is like the number one thing people get confused about. They don't know what a serving size is. They look at it and they say, oh, okay, it's 140 calories. No big deal, right? So that's for one serving. So double that for 2 servings. And so when you're looking at this has 5 grams of fat, okay? It has 250 grams of sodium. It has 140 calories, as I said, for one serving. And it has 20 grams of carbs and no sugar. But if your child is eating this, that you have to double that. So now your child is eating 280 calories. They're eating 10 grams of fat. They're eating, 500 milligrams of sodium, and they're having 40 carbs. So there's really no dietary fiber in here. So usually you take the dietary fiber and you minus that from the total amount of the carbs, and now you're eating less carbs, right? Because the fiber will help you break down the food. There's no fiber in this at all. Okay, and unbleached enriched flour, wheat flour, there's, all kinds of stuff in here. I'm not going to go into the ingredients. I'm basically just going to read what value that this is giving your kids as far as calories. There's so many of you guys out there that struggle, even as adults, because I tell you, I could eat a whole bag of these things back in the day. But if you're finding that you or your kids are not, losing the weight, if they're gaining more weight and it's all around the middle, if they're, having brain fog, this has a lot of synthetic crap in it, guys, right? So, yes, I'm not saying get rid of it totally, but we want to limit what we're giving our kids. And this is probably one of the better ones I'm going to show you. Hey, Miss Mimi. So, all right, let's take these for instance, right? Oh my God, I could eat a whole box of these too, all by myself, right? Back in the day. And so if we're looking at this again, it's 140 calories, okay? And, but that's for one serving. And there's 6 servings in here, guys. 6. So if you are eating these, wow, if you're eating this whole thing, just saying, you're going to be taking in 840 calories. That's like a meal, okay? That's like a meal. If your kids, maybe 1, maybe 2, they're splitting this, right? Think about how many calories they're eating. And maybe you're giving it to them before dinner. Maybe it's an afternoon snack and they grab this and they start eating it, and then they're not eating dinner and you're wondering why. Well, because they ate a meal, right? But they're not getting any nutrients from it. This has 180 grams of sodium. So 1 person, 2 people eat this, 1,000 grams of sodium, 1,080 grams of sodium. 2 grams of sugar, so 12 grams of sugar. Not too big a deal on that. 17 grams of carbs, times that by 6 servings, and now you're getting 102 grams of carbs. Okay, and we know carbs convert to sugar, and there's no nutritional value in here. 8 grams of fat, so now you're eating 48 grams of fat. Okay, if you guys are struggling, if your kids are struggling with weight, this is part of the reason why, is what we're feeding them. There's absolutely no nutritional value. This is dried potatoes, okay? Not even real potatoes. This has got cottonseed oil and vegetable oil in there and corn oil in there. So you want to look at this stuff, and if you really were to investigate the ingredients in here, you're going to find that this is the reason why we cannot lose weight. We are holding on to so many toxins, okay? So that's that one. Cheetos! Who doesn't love Cheetos? Okay, again, we used to buy the big container at Sam's Club, Costco's, big one, and the little balls. And once you stop popping them in your mouth, you've eaten like a quarter of the bag jar before you've even gotten, where you're full and you're like, okay, I've had enough. But this I love. I use these. I love visuals because I think sometimes that's when we really grasp what's going on. So for the Cheetos, it's 160 calories per serving. Now, come on. This is like peanuts, right? I could eat this whole bag easily. But if you do, there's 3.5 servings in here. So now instead of eating 160 calories, you're eating 560 calories. Again, enough for a meal. All right, 16 grams of carbs, so now you eat the whole bag, it's 56 grams of carbs. No sugars to really talk about. 10 grams of fat. And only one is it's 1.5 saturated, but 10 grams of fat. You eat this whole thing, okay, you're now eating 35 grams of fat. And we think this is innocent enough. There's no fiber in here, so you're not getting anything from the fiber. But we think this is okay. It's not okay. Okay? It's not to say, again, that you can't eat these things, but we need to be aware of what we're eating. Now, who wouldn't have all these things at a picnic, right? And we're munching on this one, and we're munching on this one, and then we're munching on this one. And we're not only doing that, our kids are doing that. And we're not paying attention to how much our kids are eating, right? Because, kids, they have like a bottomless stomach. They can just keep eating and eating and eating. But this also has 270 grams of sodium. Again, eating the whole bag, 945 grams of sodium. You've eaten enough sodium for the day, so I hope you're not having any sodium in the rest of your meals. But again, that's not happening because we are. And so we're holding on to all of that sodium, right? If you have inflammation in your body, if you're swelling because your fingers and your joints and your hands and your feet and all of that stuff, it's crazy. And so a lot of people don't understand this is thinking about the things when you're looking at these things. There's definitely better options of all of these same products I'm showing you. They cost a little bit more, right? Because they're usually organic or they're fewer ingredients. That's what you want to look at. There's so many ingredients in here, and all of that is like artificial. Okay? I mean, really, all of it's artificial. Cornmeal, and we got cheese seasoning, and we got maltodextrin, and we got canola oils, and if we're looking at all of this, you want to buy snacks that have the fewest ingredients in them, ones you can pronounce. Okay, so we don't have to study this and really understand it all. I'll give it to you really simple. Fewest ingredients, ones you can pronounce. If they have dyes in them, guys, don't buy dye number 40, dye number 2, red, whatever you call it, okay? Don't do that. The things you should look at the most I think calories you can burn off. Kids can burn off, right? You want to look at how many servings are in a package that you're buying, so that if it's, 6 servings, you don't want to eat the whole can. Okay? Then you want to look, my recommendation is you want to look at the sodium and the sugars in the things that you buy, because those are what cause us to hold on to that weight. Okay? Keep those at the lowest. And you want to look at the carbs. You want to make sure there's fibers in there. There's so many chips that you can buy that might be 20 grams of carbs per serving, but maybe they have 8 grams or, 10 grams of fiber in it, right? Because we've bought a healthier one. Well, yeah, then if they have 10 grams of fiber or 8 grams of fiber, now you're only eating 12 grams of carbs for your serving. That is much better. The more fiber you have, the better. So sugar, sodium, how many servings, right? Forget the calories. Don't worry too much about them. How many grams of fat, so that you know what you're eating. And if you have mono or polyunsaturated fats in there, that's okay. Those are good fats for your body. Okay, so you're looking at the saturated fats. And then the last one I want to talk about, Nutter Butters. And yes, none of these things are opened, okay? I'm just using them as props because I think this is so valuable. Nutter Butters. Okay, this is now packaged in these little carry things that we give our kids while we're on our trip, while we're going to the park, or whatever, okay? 140 calories. Again, that seems to be the going number for a serving, okay? But there's 3.5 servings in this little thing. 3.5, okay? So if you give this to your child and they eat the whole thing, again, if you wonder why they're not hungry after that, or they have a tummy ache or whatever, this is part of the reason why. Because when they eat this whole thing, they're eating 470 calories. There's 21 grams of carbs in here. So if they eat this whole container, they're eating 70 grams of carbs. And if your kids are overweight, guess what? And there's 2 grams of fiber. There's not enough fiber in there. Anytime you look at the fiber, there should be 4 or more grams of fiber in whatever you're buying. At least, minimum. 9 grams of sugar in this, okay? It's labeled 9 grams of sugar. So if they eat the whole thing, it's 29 grams of sugar. But you got to look below that because it says, oh, added sugars. What's added sugars? We don't know what they're putting in it because it says it includes added sugars, and that's 28 grams, I think. Yeah. But what are added sugars? It's corn syrup, right? High fructose corn syrup. Anything you eat with that, oh, it's so bad for you. And if that is the number one ingredient, high fructose corn syrup, in anything you are buying, put it back on the shelf and buy something else. Okay? Definitely don't do that. 115 grams of sodium per serving. So again, 380 grams of sodium for the whole thing. 6 grams of fat, so 19 grams of fat if you are eating this. Guys, I see so many parents struggling with the fact that their kids are overweight and or they have skin issues, or they're not sleeping well, or they are hyperactive all day long. They're coming up with these diseases that they're being diagnosed with. All right, ADHD, all those things. I'm not even going to go through them all today, but it's all this crap that we're feeding them, and it's not us. Okay, I'm not putting it all on us, because I did the same thing with my kids, and I wish I had known this information before. This is just to make you aware, so that you can, as you can. Some of us can't afford to go and buy all, healthier products. I get that. But If there's something that your child is eating all the time, look for that product and go get something healthier, or start adding some other things that are healthier. I'm going to leave it at that today. I will be back during the month, and I'm going to try to show you some healthier snacks and healthier versions of all of these that you can still have in your home, that your kids can still eat, not feel deprived, still make it easier for you, but start removing some of the synthetic processed crap that we are given in our food. And they will say, the Food and Drug Administration will say they're okay, they're healthy, they're this, they're that, they're not. So I'll be back. Hope this was helpful. If you have any comments, questions, post below. I know this was a little bit longer one, but it was so well worth it to give you the visuals. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.